It's 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome back. Always glad to have Andy Brewster with us here. He's a minister with Charlotte Avenue Church of Christ, and here to talk more about the church's 12 Questions campaign, which is sort of in its ending stage. We're beginning to wind down now, aren't you, Andy?
That's right. We've got about 3 more this past month. We were able to do about 5 questions, and kind of, I guess, the highlights of last month where we brought in Eric Lyons from a group called Apologetics Press.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they're from Montgomery, Alabama, and he answered the question, where did God come from? So gave us some proofs and some evidences to prove that God exists and where he came from and that sort of thing. And then we also, I guess one of the questions that we've been looking forward to answering is, why do you allow us to be tempted? And we answered that question as well. And really the answer to that one boiled down to God allows us to have choice, and you can't have choice if there aren't 2 options, one being good and one being evil, or one being sin, or that kind of thing. So those were probably the 2 highlights of this past month. And then starting tomorrow night, we've got 3 left, and tomorrow night is the Bible really your word? So that's really an important one. You know, kind of our almost a catchphrase for us has been answering your spiritual questions with scriptural answers. So we want to see, well, what is the Bible where we should be looking for those answers from? So that's tomorrow night. And then we've got, when are you going to come back? And then the last one is, how can I know I'm going to be saved? So is the Bible what I need to answer my life questions with? When are you going to come back, God? And when you come back, how can I know I'm going to be saved? So those are kind of the ones that we're wrapping up with as we wrap up our 12 Questions campaign.
So tell us a little bit more about the campaign for some folks who may not be familiar with it. What is the 12 Questions campaign?
Again, we at the Charlotte Avenue Church of Christ, we got the word out into our community, especially in April, if you had a question, if you could ask God anything, what would you ask him? And we took questions the entire month of April. We narrowed them down to kind of the top 12 most frequently asked questions in May, and we've been answering them throughout the summer on Wednesday nights at 7 o'clock. Live at our church building, Charlotte Avenue Church of Christ in Rock Hill, or online at 12questions.org. We live stream all of them, and all the old ones are recorded, so you can go back and check out all the old ones.
There you go.
And check all that out.
That's a great idea. You know, I ask you, like, what are some of the more compelling questions that you had asked, but let me ask you this morning.
Okay.
Let's do a twist on that.
All right.
Has there been a question that you thought was going to be a big question that was and wasn't asked? Is there anything that you're sort of surprised? What?
Yeah, I was thinking, especially with all the things that have been happening in the news lately with sexuality and homosexuality or transgender and those types of things, and we actually didn't have any questions at all submitted on that. And I was really surprised, given our current climate and a lot of the laws that have been taking place in North Carolina and South Carolina and discussion, but we actually didn't have any of those questions asked. So.
Wow, now that is interesting, isn't it? Well, with all these things that are going on here. So the campaign's going to be wrapping up, so what's going to be next?
Well, next we're going to keep everybody who's asked a question, even if they're not one of those top 12 questions, we're still answering those questions through email or letter or phone call or personal Bible study, that sort of thing. So we're going to continue to wrap up with those. And if anybody still has questions, they can still submit those questions on our 12 Questions website, 12questions.org, and we'll continue to answer those. And we'll have some other things going on at the church here pretty soon.
All right. Andy Brewster, so great, wonderful stuff there. Interesting, compelling, just all sorts of things. Thanks, Andy, for being here. Looking forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks.
Hear more. All right, 13 minutes after 8, and we're back right after this.